Welcome to Walking Dead with three stupid guys. Tonight, I'm joined with only one stupid guy.
The head stupid guy,
The head stupid guy.
the
Not even.
dumbest of the four.
I think we're the stupid guys because Russ roped us into this show.
He's the one that wanted to do it.
Right?
We should do what? I go, I don't know, Russ. I'm doing a lot of podcasts. I don't know if I can do it. I like the show. No, we should do it. And how many times does he show up?
Yeah. And now we're out Mike too. You know, I learned something. The abbreviations for Miami is MIA. So
Hey, there you go. That's nice. You're on fire. You're on fire today.
I hope not. Well,
if I'm a little out of it today, if I'm a little, down, it's because I'm still thinking of a rocking horse that some young child looked at and went, I'm going back to bed.
It talked even. Right?
It did. It made this. Oh, he loves it at the daycare center. Yeah. Anyway,
well, we're all met with parental disappointment, but one thing that doesn't disappoint is our Patreon supporters.
Oh yes, right? There you go.
All right.
If you'd like to help this podcast, because who would want to help four stupid guys survive in this world? I don't think we could survive. Could Russ survive I don't think Russ could survive in a zombie world.
He would be taken in by some cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Like
cheeseburger. Oh, look at that cheeseburger. Ah, my face. Oh my God. But no, if you'd like to help support the help us support and keep this great podcast going, you can go to Patreon/JayandJack, or is it Patreon.com/JayandJack? I should have written this down, but
it's Jay and Jack, and it's all spelled out Patreon.
Yes.
E-O-N. Sorry. Just wanted to verify that. Sorry.
There's other great podcasts out there. We have Sports Talk with Three Stupid Guys, and there's usually four of us, but there were two tonight. And we have The Amazing Race with Jack and Cindy, Survivor with Jack, Colleen, and Jay. We have The Married Man Show is back. Dell was back in studio, sitting across from me today. I need to take a shower. But we also have
Leftovers.
And the Leftovers, a leftover podcast out. The Ramblecast, Lost, we're going to start doing every now and then.
I have no idea when you're going to be able to podcast.
Google, not Google. Game of Thrones, when Game of Thrones come back, and Jay wants to do a vinyl podcast. So I've agreed to do a vinyl podcast with Jay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Really?
So I said, Jay, do you want this? I said, I don't know if I want to do it. Jay goes, I'm into music. I'm into rock and roll. I want to do a vinyl podcast.
Nice.
I thought that would bring him. I thought that would bring him back online.
So we talked earlier about how I feel like Jack doesn't know the term "no" means no podcasting, and this might be one of those cases.
I'm telling you, that's going to be a hit. Vinyl's going to be.
I've never even seen the show. How can I say?
We went to Leftovers. We went without any hesitation.
Because it was our man Damon Lindelof, all right? Gotta support the man.
Lindelof is co-producer of the Vinyl podcast. The Vinyl.
The Vinyl podcast.
Wow. Hey.
I just looked when I first saw it. I said, "Oh, Jay would be perfect at this because he knows music." And it finally gave him a podcast where he'd have maybe the upper hand on me because he's kind of just floating around. All those years supporting Locke, and we know how that turned out. So well. If you want Jay to do a vinyl podcast, just let us know. Send it to lostpodcast@gmail.com, or just let us know on our Facebook page. Jay, I would sign up for page. I would do the $500 a month if you did a vinyl podcast.
Just ask Matt to do it. He's a sucker.
Whoa.
No, Russ was the only one that convinced Matt to do anything.
Yeah, somehow I'm hosting this, right? So
exactly.
My background tonight, if you're joining us on or watching us on YouTube, also doubles that as a record. So, but it's also Jupiter. So, I'm not making the stupider comment again. Did it once, worked then.
It was gold.
Yeah, let's jump into Walking Dead because we've talked Patreon and we have a tendency to get off track and ramble. I think it's mainly Jack's fault.
You know what? I'm not gonna deny that.
There's some other things you might deny, like
that's one thing I don't deny. I do get off track.
Well, so it's just you and me tonight. Let's just. What did you think? Did you like it?
I liked the episode. I liked how they kept going. I like they didn't go when they went to black and white. We were in, back in the we're back. It was flashback, and when the it was color was present day. I liked that. I liked how they went back like that. It was almost like I think saw a couple of suggestions. It was comic book like when it went to black and white. I enjoyed the episode. I thought it was very good. I was into it. I like the whole. I'm not a Game of Thrones. I'm a Walking Dead fan. And we have criticized it in the past. There's been episodes that we didn't like. I go, if you listen to us, we're not going to be homers. We're not going to sugarcoat it. If we don't like it, we're gonna say it. But I, for one, I liked the episode.
Yeah, I liked again the black and white to color back and forth was really nice. And if you notice, this episode starts off really subtly on Rick's face just seconds after killing Pete. And you actually see the color fade to black and white in that moment, which I thought was really cool.
I'll be honest with you, at first I thought something was wrong with my TV.
I didn't know what was going on. And it fades to black, and then you hear Rick talking, and it's completely black, and then boom, we see color, and we see this moment happening. And I liked the sensory change-up. I thought, not only did they do the color shift, but when you listen to the music, Bear McCreary, who did Battlestar Galactica, I think he does a great job with The Walking Dead. We kick the tires on The Walking Dead. Sometimes it disappoints, but I thought his music in this whole section was great because the music and the color moments were, this momentous, like it was building, and then you switch to the black and white, and it's this tender and reminiscent and a slower time, and it kind of not only does it make you think of the comic book, but it also kind of makes you think about black and white TV when it was a simpler time, and also a lot of those
when life was good.
When life was good.
When life was good.
For
for
certain people.
You didn't have to. All you had to worry about communism. You didn't have to worry about zombies. It was communism. I grew up playing duck and cover.
But Night of the Living Dead, black and white movie, right?
There you go.
It also deals with race, so it's not hiding it. It's right there. But anyway, the other sensory kind of jarring moment that I just want to point out, and this is not a show in which we do a necessary recap, but we're just going to kind of touch on points of the episode. The moment at the end when the horn comes in, and it's just overwhelming. It cuts through everything that you've seen up to that point, and you're just like, what is that noise? Everything is like going south at this point, and it cuts out, and you still hear that horn.
Also because it's like, wow, the plan is working. I mean, it's an elaborate plan, because I couldn't even figure out what they were doing at first. At first I saw the cars in a line. I go, are they going to blow the cars up as the walkers are walking through, destroy them all? I go, and finally I go, and when they had the detour about town, and I go, oh, they're leading them out of town. That's what they're just trying to get them out of town because there's so many of them. I go, oh, this is it, and they even say it looks like it's going to work, and after that, the horn goes off. Now, I guess we're going to skip ahead. Who do you think is blowing the horn?
Sure. So I think one of the prime suspects that we can point to is I think his name is Ron. Is that the son? I looked this up.
I think it is the son. There's a lot of people saying it's Gabriel, but I think that's too obvious.
Well, Gabriel has messed things up for them in the past, but
he has. But why? He's afraid of the walkers, so why would he lead the walkers to his death?
So I mean, obviously, like the stepson, the kid or stepson. It's not his stepson. It's Pete's son who Rick had killed, and they were setting out to bury. But it's that kid who also creepily enough was watching Carl and Enid. I can't. Enid. Sorry, is her name. But he was creepily in the background, and that's really the only scene in which we see Carl in this episode. It wasn't until today when I was really kind of rethinking the episode in my head. I was like, where was Carl? Like, he wasn't really in this episode that much.
Or was it really the actor that plays Carl? Because it could have been anybody.
Well, he was only there for a moment, so no,
You'd think he would have had a bigger bigger part on the plan.
Yeah, I mean, but maybe that was that scene with Enid. Sorry, I'm gonna murder that name every time I try to say it.
Let's call her Sally.
Maybe it's just setting up some kind of plot line with her, right?
Sally. Well, I think so. Obviously, I think last year there were a connection with her, and so I think there's something going on.
They're into dead things together, you know.
Yeah, who isn't?
Yeah. Hey, do you like to shoot dead animals? Me too.
Me too.
Do you like to get trapped in a hollow log while the zombies surround us? Sure.
It's exciting. It's exhilarating. It's just
exhilarating. Yeah.
It's just like ooh. It's just like something I can't deal with.
So this show, you know, the main plot line is pretty much Rick and crew, you know, herding this massive horde of walkers away from Alexandria. But the B storyline, I guess we could say, comes from the title itself, which was something that was spoken between Morgan and Rick, was this first time again.
Right.
And it really seems to be kind of the other plot line that we're seeing is can these two people that have barely met each other, can they get along and work together, and you know, are they still the same people?
Because they don't know each other. They don't know each other.
Right.
They know of each other, but they're really not. They're not close friends. They just have a mutual respect, I think, for each other. But you know, who is Morgan? We don't even know who Morgan is.
Yeah.
Do we? I mean, we like his character. We're all happy. We get excited when we see him, but we don't know who Morgan is.
Yeah, and he's sporting that cool Jesus stick that he waxes.
Yeah, that's a very cool Jesus stick.
Yeah.
It's probably better than the original Jesus stick.
It's like Jesus Stick 2.0. I mean, I think we can just call it that.
And before I forget, I do like the fact they explain why they didn't have to deal with many walkers.
Yes.
They're all trapped in that rock quarry or whatever it was. They were I said that at least they went back and explained it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they set that up for because remember they said last they've never had to deal with many walkers. They don't have, right. And now we see why, because they just trickle out like a drop every now and then. I thought that was smart.
Well, and they also kind of paired it with this like early group or campment that kind of had set up these barricades, so it kind of makes sense. Like they have these like primitive kind of pit there, and then all of a sudden, you know, they got taken over, but somehow it trapped all of those walkers. So yeah, no, I get that.
Couldn't the plan have been to like get like in Troy, they had those giant rolling things that they lit on fire and threw them down the hill. Could you have done that to the walkers and just burned them?
Sure. Yeah.
Wouldn't that have been a better plan than trying to lead them out? You know.
Yeah, just destroy them all, right?
I just think it over time. I mean, they're trapped down there. I mean, obviously, eventually. I just think there was another way to do it. That would have been my first thought. Well, Rick, why don't we do this?
Well, I gotta say, just the fact that the show opens with this horde, and we see it, and we're kind of ajarred at this point because it's jumped forward in time, and at that moment, I think a lot of viewers were like, "What's going on? How far have we jumped in time?" I mean, I was kind of like, how far in the future are we? You know,
right.
And I kept trying to keep tabs. I'm like, "Where's Carol? Is she dead? You know, like what happened to? Why isn't this character here? You know, how far in the future have we jumped?" And then we kind of learn slowly. And I thought this episode, for being a longer episode, really did a great job with filling that time and pacing it out in a very satisfying way.
It wasn't dragged out like we've had a big complaint about a lot of the seasons. It seemed like they're dragged out. You know, the whole the governor thing. It just seemed like they dragged it out, and it's not their fault, I don't think, because it's such a huge ratings bonanza for AMC. So they obviously are kind of put under pressure to. But there's nothing worse when a show is being dragged out, especially in this day and age where we want answers now. We want what's going on at the story. Oh, just don't keep doing the same old thing. But I like how Carol's still June Cleaver. She's still like, someone could show me how to work a gun. I guess so. And then, but even what's his name, Carter, who's played by the bass player from That Thing You Do.
Wow.
He kind of knew Carol was more than what she thought. Set was portraying herself. You're always watching. Or was it Morgan? No, I'm sorry, Morgan.
Morgan. Yes.
Morgan figured her out. So and Carol's like, okay, and just like seeing, because Carol's Rambo.
Yeah.
She's the new Rambo.
Rambo in disguise. Yep.
So she's just playing, but she's staying in character because they still don't trust the people that they're now together with. They don't So I think I think that's a smart plan. You don't show all your cards. You don't show your hand. So.
Oh yeah, she's the ace in the sleeve. So,
yeah, what was I thinking? Carter didn't know anything.
Yeah, and did we really feel bad for him when he died?
I think it was they were setting it up because Rick was saying he's gonna die. He said it. He's going to die. Yeah. He's gonna. Right. I think it was Matt on our Facebook page. Another Matt said he didn't turn the other cheek. So I said that was pretty good. So.
Now
you have to be strong in this type of world. You can't be weak, and I think it took Rick a long time to realize that. Shane, as much as we didn't like Shane was I guess right.
Sort of, yeah. It's almost like you have to be 50% Shane and 50% of Boy Scout Rick.
Right, you have to. It has to be some balance, but because Shane was too far to the right. I mean, he was too far. I'm going to do it this way, but Rick had to come more to the middle. He was maybe too far to the left. I'm just using this as an example.
He's still, he's still anti-gun control.
Yes,
he wants to weaponize the.
He does.
Yeah,
but in this world, I think you have to because you can't survive. I mean, it's a matter of survival, but.
Right, and to that point, the whole confrontation with Carter, I think, it was nice to kind of see that. I was really kind of worried about Eugene there when he was discovered.
Oh, I thought Eugene was gone.
Oh, I was like, yeah, and it's like I just was kind of now coming to accept him, as kind of the, I don't know, the Hurley of the show. It's like
it was almost like a Lost trick where they take a character and you go, okay, I like him now. Boom, he's gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I said because Eugene was, he lied about the, knowing a cure and having the whole thing to Washington. He was lying about it just to survive, and we didn't really like him. And he did make some amends last season. But I was like, oh, I thought he was gone, but then Carter couldn't do it. And I thought the scene between Rick and Carter, where Rick had the gun to the back of Carter's head, I thought that was fantastic acting by both the actors. I thought Rick was going to blow his head off right there, but then Daryl goes, "Come on, Rick!" Like Daryl's the angel on he's the angel on Rick's shoulder, going, "Come on, Rick." He reels him back in, saying, "Come on, you don't want to do that."
I think both Rick and Morgan kind of keep him in check in some way. Right. I mean, even that scene with Rick and Ron and Morgan where Rick decides, okay, I'm going to help bury Pete's body out here.
Yeah, all right, okay, I'll do it.
I'll do the right thing, I guess, because he's here. But if he wasn't here, I'd just leave the body, right? We just burn it.
Leave him for the walkers.
Yeah. I also liked the fact that through this episode, so we saw both Rick and I have it written down here. I'm just spacing on his name. We like him. He used to deliver pizzas. Why am I spacing on his name?
Oh, Glenn?
Glenn, yes. So we saw both Rick and Glenn kind of in these roles where they're dealing with these people that don't get along with them, right?
Well, I mean, I'll be honest with you. It's Nicholas, I think, the guy that he tried to kill Glenn last year.
Yeah.
And Glenn saves him, brings him back in, and says, "Okay, I'm going to teach you how to survive." Mm-hmm. That's a bigger man than me. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to leave you out there for the walkers.
Glenn, we actually see Glenn turning the other cheek.
Yeah, he did. Exactly, he did turn the other cheek. I don't know. Could you do that if someone would? In this world, someone tries to kill you because they're trying to hide some information. I just don't know. Yeah. And he got Noah killed because he couldn't. Mm-hmm. Handle it, but now Nicholas wants to prove that he's worthy because Glenn saved his life. So maybe Glenn's way is better than my way would have been.
My prediction here is, I think Nicholas has kind of found a friend in Glenn, and maybe we'll see actually Nicholas sacrifice himself to save Glenn or something at some point in the season. Like
you think he's
try to redeem himself. What's that?
You think he's a goner?
I don't think he's set. I mean, he's not cast or anything. I mean, I don't think any of these people are really. I mean, this show. It's like, I was looking at some of the trivia for the show, and it's just a wash list of like so and so starring so and so also starring so and so is just at this, and I'm like, this is nothing interesting. One of the little interesting things that I read on an Entertainment Weekly article, though, in regards to turning the other cheek, is that cheek. that cheek moment special effect. Apparently there was a fire extinguisher attached to it, and it went on, and it didn't like shut off or something like that. So when it spurted out the blood, it was just a geyser of blood and covered the zombie walker in just blood. Like it just was an uncontrollable like fire extinguisher of blood just spurting out of his cheek. I'd like to see that.
I'd like to see it because did the actor playing the walker, did he put up his hand and say, okay, I'm drowning? Or did he just keep spraying him in the face? I'd like to see that.
Yeah, I would too. It's definitely blooper worthy, so I hope they actually show that. Now they did also say that the black and white was a kind of a later adjustment. Initially, they had wanted to do the present or the future part of the story in a higher saturated color tone,
right?
And then the past kind of scenes more in a less saturated, so it wasn't just color in black and white. But what had happened was when they keyed up the saturation, it was like the forest was too alive, and the zombie walkers didn't look dead. Like the makeup was actually keyed up when they keyed up the saturation. So they didn't appear dead anymore, and they just were like, this isn't our world. And so they decided to go the black and white route. I think it was Greg Nicotero in the interview had said that he hopes that the DVD version is actually colorized, that it's both. But I really kind of liked the black and white.
I liked the black and white. It worked for me. Once I figured out what was going on, I liked it. I just said, okay, I'm not having to think, okay, past, present, past. I just liked the way it was done.
Yeah.
So I don't want to see, I hope they don't do it, but again, I'd have no control over that.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't see anyone complaining about it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess as a DVD option, but I thought the black and white version was cool. And there's that scene where Morgan and Rick are, as the trunk Tarantino shot, and I couldn't help but think of Tarantino. They're both. It's the view out of the trunk, and they're looking there, and Morgan is like, "Yeah, I'm a killer, Rick," and Rick's like, "Yeah." It was just like they were like so mobster or something. I don't know, straight out of and the black and white I thought really accentuated that feeling. Let's see. Other notes that I had: Eugene meets Heath, and I like the comment where he says, "I recognize the game. What is he? Hair game or something?"
Hair game.
Like that. Yeah. It's
and he goes, "Okay," but I thought I go, Eugene's really gonna just let him in? So from now on, I mean, Eugene, it wasn't his job, but we don't put Eugene on the gate.
Right. Well, no. maybe Eugene is the one that let some bad people in, and that's why the horn's going off.
Didn't think about that.
I mean, I don't think he's out there. He wasn't out in the.
No, I wouldn't bring Eugene out there. No, it's no way.
Huh. No. But I don't see him making that same mistake twice, though.
No, he's gotten a little savvier, so I don't think so. Maybe it could be the wolf people that they're maybe it was people are saying it might be them.
Right. Yeah, the wolves, the W people.
I still say it's the sun.
Yeah, I think that's like the 80% most likely like what we're gonna get. So something else I read is and like most seasons, apparently it doesn't let up. So this intense pace, and that's what we like from The Walking Dead. We don't like it when it gets slow and sluggish.
Right.
But I thought this was a really great. This is kind of hard to top season 5. Season 5 started out with just a bang. I mean, Carol came back like Rambo, busted them out, and it just was a fast-paced kickstart to the season. And I thought to top that, showing us the Horde. We've known that there's a horde of walkers out there, but this was a collected horde, and they could kind of use that. I thought, and this was my thought, and just trying to piece together as I was watching it. I thought they were using the Horde as a atom bomb nuclear weapon. Like, this is far in the future. The Alexandria has been run over by some bad people, and Rick was basically like, this is a last-ditch effort. We're going to flush these people out by basically releasing the walkers.
Oh, that would have been cool too. But then what would happen with Rick and his group though? They would have to leave town.
Right. Well, like I said, last-ditch effort to basically destroy the town or something like that. But again, it was a cool way to start the season, and I liked, even though the black and white scenes were slower, I liked the character development that happened in that.
I agree, but I'm thinking, we had less of Maggie, because it was Maggie and Morgan when Rick put Carter to killed him.
Yeah.
Because he was screaming, and Morgan and it was Maggie that was there, right? They're just kind of looking at him like going, almost like they felt bad for Carter.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, are they mad at Rick? Rick had to do it. It was something Rick had to do, and I don't think Rick wanted it. Rick didn't want to do it, but it's something I don't think Rick would have done few seasons ago.
Well, it was Michonne and Morgan that were looking down.
That's right. Yeah.
Maggie was only in it for a little bit, where Glenn was basically like whispering, and there was that weird scene where we see Deanna, a close-up of Deanna as she's listening to Glenn whispering to Maggie.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where they're going with her character. I mean, she's kind of in Dullsville at this point, but who wouldn't be after losing your son and your husband,
right,
back to back?
Well, she's become more vicious. She's more on attack mode now.
She's definitely on guard. You can tell that. Like,
she's not going, okay, we can't do that. She goes, whatever Rick wants.
Yeah, and Carol even calls it to Rick, like, hey, you're in control now. Like, he's alpha.
He says, like you said, you think to Carter, you think you're going to get us out of here?
Yeah.
You're going to overturn our... No, it's not going to happen. And they went, okay, all right.
Apparently in that scene, this was the only other kind of, I think, news or noteworthy kind of thing, is that scene, that intense scene with Rick confronting Carter, is that to get Andrew Lincoln to get himself pumped up, he was punching the wall behind himself. And for those that are just listening, if you watch the YouTube, I do make hand gestures of punching walls. But he punches the wall behind himself, and he ends up punching a hole in that wall to get him psyched up, and they basically just left it in there.
Really?
So you can see the hole in the wall that Andrew Lincoln had punched just to get himself psyched up.
Wow. Who knew that acting was so tough?
Especially when you hear Morgan and Andrew Lincoln. I wish I knew the actor's name that plays Morgan.
I will look it up right now. Let's see.
Oh. Well, they're both British actors, and so when you watch the behind the scenes, you're just always like,
I think it's
jolly good, lovely.
Lenny James.
Yes, Lenny James. I knew it. It was there.
When I first heard Andrew Lincoln talk, I was like going, what? I didn't know he's British, but...
Well, British people can do Southern so easily.
They can.
Yeah. So
it's almost not fair. It's like cheating.
Yeah. It's funny to actually hear the English, actors that are actually, that are actually American on the show. You're like, oh, you're an American actor. Oh. Yeah. Or hearing Eugene, the actor that plays Eugene, hearing him speak, you're like, oh wow, you're not like this kind of weird dork,
Yeah. It's like Kevin from The Office. Kevin used a different voice in The Office.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when you see the actor that plays Kevin, you're like, oh wow, you aren't that dumb.
It's like Jay on the podcast.
Yeah, when I see Jay before the podcast began, I'm like, oh wow,
you're not high pitched and stupid. Is that what you're gonna say? I was just finishing your sentence. Oh, I'm sorry. That wasn't me saying that. I just was assuming that's what you're gonna say.
No. Jay is actually more like that Ronald Reagan sketch from SNL, that classic Ronald Reagan sketch. I mean, he's just like, "Shut up, Colleen, and get me a beer." He's like,
that is how Jay is.
Yeah, pretty much. So Colleen can attest to that.
Yeah.
Anyway, just wrapping up here. I mean, I as far as my notes, we got to see the Rick and Morgan dynamic, the Rick and Ron, the Rick roll. No, even I mean, like the Rick and Daryl situation, kind of seeing Daryl kind of saying like, no man, like going out and finding people, that is us, and I liked that.
Daryl has definitely changed. He's definitely he's just more, I don't know, compassionate, I guess. What I'm saying. He just I don't know. Maybe it's because when Beth died, maybe that had something to do with it or something. I don't know. He just seems more compassionate than he was in the beginning. Maybe he's also away from his brother long enough, too, that he didn't have that feet up. But I'm looking at all these characters they have, and like I said, we barely saw Maggie. We barely saw Carl and all these different characters. Somebody, for our favorite characters to come back, somebody's going to have to die. There's going to have to be a lot of people dying, I think.
At some point, there's going to be that reckoning, and maybe that's what they're.
Or something happens where they said, okay, we need to move on. This because all these, walkers that have been released out, they're out in the open and they're out in the fields. I mean, there's no way that that wall can hold them in. They're going to have to take off again.
I don't know. My guess, my hunch would be somehow they're able to maintain Alexandria, only in an effort to have it run over, maybe, or something. There's got to be another big bad that's coming in, because I don't think it's Deanna. No. So, but maybe Deanna plays a role in that, or I don't know.
Or maybe it was her that set off the horn.
Yeah.
Maybe she deep down blames Rick for everything that happened.
Nah, she's been way too.
But is she playing? Is she playing both sides? And she goes and she just sets him up to. I mean, what does she have left? I mean, her family's gone.
Yeah, I just don't see her pulling like the self-destruct.
I've changed my vote. I think it was Deanna. Just like that, I'm changing my vote.
I'm sticking with Ron, and he killed Sasha, maybe, or somebody, like, to get to, like, where he. I don't know, like No, Sasha was driving.
Sasha's in the car.
Yeah, I can't see anybody. I can't see Maggie dying off screen. So maybe I'm all wrong in those. I guess a couple last things. The balloons to reinforce a sense of whimsy. It's like they have helium, right?
And helium is hard to get.
Yeah, especially in
today's world, helium is hard to get.
Yeah.
So that was my first thought. I go, there's sometimes we can't get helium. We have birthday parties there. I go, must be some helium stored there. I guess I don't know.
It was probably 2 weeks just to get that helium for that balloons. Like Rick's Carter kept saying, "Let's go through the plans again. Let's go through the plans again, Rick. I don't know the plans again." And he's like, "Okay, I'm going to tell you one last time, but we need to get some helium for these balloons. Yeah. And this time, let's get some red balloons, okay? So we're sending out another mission just to get red balloons."
Only if they could get 99 red balloons.
But they only had 3.
Yeah.
Maybe it was 4. But yeah, it started off red, then orange, and you could kind of see like maybe where they were going, that like eventually green for go, but we never got to green.
No.
We never got to safety.
For like one time, the plan is working. It's working. Nope. Yeah. Deanna set him up.
Oh, no, it's not Deanna.
She's got to die.
That would be a good. Yeah, that'd be a good switcheroo.
She's got to die.
I think she's on the cast this season.
Well, she doesn't have to die right away.
Oh, okay.
They don't have to know who did. They don't have to who blew the horn. Right?
Well, maybe next week, when all 4 stupid guys are back, hopefully, we can all kind of make a mid-season ending.
Maybe it was a Viking zombie who had this. Maybe something like that. What do you think?
I saw some great memes posted on our Facebook group, and I really enjoyed those. Those were really cool. So, let's see. I don't think I had anything else. What was your favorite zombie kill?
Favorite zombie kill. I think when they just went over when they were shooting them we were going over the cliff.
Oh, with the semi-trailer or something like that? When they all kind of fell up?
They were chasing after, what's it?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And they run and they were just like pushing them over and shooting them in the back of the head and stuff like that. So that was kind of cool. That was kind of different because zombies aren't smart. They just keep going. Forward.
Well, Rick tackled Ron or whatever, and then they just kind of kept like going. Yeah, that was kind of cool. I was gonna say my favorite zombie kill was the first one. The one that Daryl shoots at the opening, where it's like one of the first walkers out of the gate.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It's like the arrow in the head. I was just kind of like, yep, that's me. Like I liked it.
Well, I'm sitting there watching I'm going, okay, here's the plan. You got Daryl with his crossbow, and there's like 50 billion walkers. I don't think he has enough arrows.
I thought it was kind of cool that he just like the first one gets shot, but then the rest just come and they don't mind. Yeah. But I kind of like the fact that he just couldn't help it. I'm going to shoot this one.
I got to shoot one. I got the crossbow out. I have to shoot someone.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. We love Daryl, so seeing that arrow come in, I was just like,
that's the one character that can't be killed off because people would stop watching.
You could kill off Rick before you could kill off Daryl.
Yeah, there's no way you could kill off Daryl. Because Daryl's so likable now. There's no
Norman Reedus wouldn't cut his hair for Hollywood opportunities because he cares that much about this show.
Yeah, and I would do the same. I wouldn't cut my hair either.
You're a man of your word. You're not cutting it.
I'm not cutting.
The only other zombie kill that I would like to note is the head that smashes like a balloon against the plates.
Yeah,
the red goo.
What happened there? He just tripped or something, and his head just smashed.
I guess it's a horde. They're just kind of moving. I don't know. It's kind of
maybe like a stampede, and he just got trampled on and pushed.
It looked like strawberry jam. Like you could just take a.
It was like take a piece of bread and just go.
Yeah,
that's good eating.
That's good toast. Yeah, so that's all I got for this week. I'm trying to remember what the next episode's called JSS. So maybe somebody's initials.
JSS. I'm looking at the names here.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe it equals the numbers.
Yeah, there you go. Adds it to 108. And before we forget, we do have a Patreon program, and we have donators that reach a certain level and have supported us. So I'd like to thank them right now. We have Tack from Tokyo, Eckhart Richtner, and Chris O'Brien. I'd like to thank them for their contributions and helping us out. And we also have a list of everybody who's made a contribution on our Facebook. Is it our Facebook page?
No, I think the Patreon page has a list.
Patreon page. It's a list of everybody there, and thanks for keeping track, Matt, because as
always,
always,
it's on actually jayandjack.com.
Oh,
it's on jayandjack.com. Thank you, Matt. You sounded a lot like Jay there.
I had a cough.
Thank you.
So
anyway,
thanks to everyone for donating, and I think it's a good thing. If you support Jay and Jack, it goes to all the podcasters, and there's so much entertainment that Jay and Jack put out. So what's $5, huh? So
yeah, it's a cup of coffee. Cup of coffee.
Yeah. So
right.
For all
coffee really $5? Holy crap. But hopefully, like Matt said, all four guys will be here next week. Hopefully, Russ can get over his cold, and Mike can get over. Probably went to a concert. That's my guess.
Yeah. He's
and to be fair, Mike's only been to 1,000 concerts this year, so he didn't want to miss one.
His over under is not good. So he's got a quota to meet. So,
but I enjoyed talking with you all day, Matt. That was nice, and
yeah, we had some good talks and good off-air talks with Jay. So and I'll look forward to. I don't have a call. I don't have a off sign thing that I say. Like I've still never developed one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you can say hasta luego and goodbye because you were the lead today.
Oh, okay. So
that's yours.
It seems weird, though. I mean, that's really you and Jay's territory.
No. Go ahead. I say go ahead and do it.
Oh, really?
Let him go for his own. It's his chance.
See, Jay's already crying. I'm not stopping by saying. Oh.
Okay, I'll use what I used last week. Great show. That was 1 in a million.
Bye.
I like that, actually. That's really good.
It's a little Star Wars.